Thank you, Rabbi, for the warm introduction. As Rabbi Teldon said, my name is Hannah Cramer, and I'm an attorney at Legal Aid. We represent low-income Texans on the Texas-Mexico border and all the way up north towards Austin. So I work on a few different types of legal issues, but they all have one thing in common, and that is that most of my clients have disabilities or serious mental illness. And my experiences over the last 10 years my career is a direct result of my experiences over the last 10 years. So tonight I want to share a few lessons that I've learned and a few things that I've lived by. And so first is believing your clients, your patients, your friends, your family, your congregants' experiences. I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease in 2010, but I actually had been sick for a long time before that. I couldn't exactly articulate what was wrong, but I would go to my parents, I would say, I feel weird, I need to go to the hospital. They would say, we can't just take you to the hospital if you feel weird. And I would tell them, no, I know something's wrong, I feel weird. And my parents always believed me. So they would take me to the emergency room. The doctor at the hospital would say she needs to see a gastroenterologist. I would go to said gastroenterologist, and they would say, she's fine, there's nothing wrong. My family was the only ones who believed that something was wrong. And thank God, eventually, after 5 or 6 times of that happening, I was finally diagnosed with Crohn's disease. So at 17 years old, it was pretty devastating to be diagnosed with a chronic disease. I still had the memory of what it was like to be healthy, and knowing that I wasn't going to ever experience that again was really hard. But I was also so gratified having answers and feeling validation that what I thought was weird was weird. And Judaism tells us this as well. V'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. Love your fellow as yourself. When my clients tell me that somebody is mistreating them, I treat them as if I was feeling mistreated, and I believe them. I validate people who tell me that something's wrong. I'm able to truly care and be sensitive to others because I've experienced pain and let down myself. And I can wholeheartedly accept others and validate their experiences because I came to love and embrace my own experiences. The second thing I've learned is that humans need love and support. Part of my job is finding alternatives for individuals with disabilities. Is there a less restrictive way that you guys can live in the community? Whether it be a medical power of attorney, a community-based service, one of the many organizations that we have in the city. And I've done this for myself as well. How can I be successful and fulfill my dreams while I have this chronic illness? This is how I graduated undergrad in 4 years, despite being really sick for 2 of those years. This is how I graduated from law school with only having 1 Crohn's flare. And this is how I advocate for my clients every day. I've learned that it's okay to ask for help, and you're usually better off once you do. I've learned to let a friend know when I'm not feeling well. I've learned to accept help when somebody wants to bring a meal or accept a ride if somebody wants to take me to the doctor. I've learned that getting support is always helpful before you're in too deep when support won't help. And the third lesson is using Judaism as a crutch. I mentioned how upsetting it was to get diagnosed with a chronic illness at 17. I was very angry, to say the least. And I remember that I didn't want to go to Yom Kippur services that year. I felt like the coming year had already been sealed with illness and pain, and I really didn't see a reason to go. So I asked my mom, can I skip Yom Kippur services this year? And in case you've never told your Jewish mother that you don't want to go to High Holiday services, it did not go well for me. I did go to High Holiday services that year, and I'm glad I did. But anyways, I was so angry with God that I couldn't imagine asking for forgiveness when this thing had happened to me. But my family never gave up on me. They were there for me as I worked through the anger of this diagnosis. I did go to services that year and every year since. And it's taken a lot of time, but I feel very grateful to God that I've had this diagnosis. I would not be as strong of a legal advocate had I not had to advocate for myself. I would not know how to talk to people about their invisible illnesses if I didn't have to do that for myself. And I wouldn't be as driven to fight for my clients if I didn't have to fight for myself when my body was attacking itself. So if there's anything you take into 5781, validate each other, use support and services, and go to High Holiday services. Thank you.